What I can tell you is between the ages of 17 to 23, I legitimately worked 80 to 90 hours a week consistently.
So
And
your
I still
work
went out to the
became
clubs and
life. Your work became life.
It became the priority.
So you agree with me?
I don't think you should focus on balance. I think you should focus on optimizing the business, which just forces you to optimize yourself, because the skill of the business and the strength of the business is the result. That's okay. That's okay, bro.
No.
No, you bitches are mean.
Women are mean. Bitches are mean.
We're
Women are
horrible.
bitches?
We're horrible.
I don't think
but
women are bitches.
You can no, but we can.
I think women
be.
are incredible
We can
people.
be, and we can monetize it.
Okay.
Because I've done that myself.
Well done.
Thank you
Shout out
so
to that. I was
much.
supposed to cop some hate for that, but yeah. What's up, Eminem?
Slim Shady from the
What's your name?
90s.
From the 90s, huh? What's your name?
Andy.
Andy, nice to meet you, dummy.
Yeah, I don't really know what I'm doing here, but you said that it's harder to...
It's easier.
It's easier to start a business today than it is in the 90s.
Yeah.
I'm disagreeing with you on that one.
Okay.
I think that we have a lot of tools today, 100%, but I think there's too many distractions than there were in the 90s.
100 million.
I feel like people in the 90s were hungrier than they are today. I feel like people today, they want the results but skip the journey.
Agreed.
And it's all social.
Absolutely.
Where I agree with you is socially, it's easier to grow a business today than it was like back then with the door knocking or like, you know, the word of mouth. Yeah. But I still reckon the hunger outweighs the, the thingy majiggy bob from today.
Yeah, okay.
Whatever that is. You know what I'm trying to say? I think
No, I
the
think you're
hunger
making great
outweighs
points.
the,
Yeah.
the
And by the
social
way,
thing.
I agree with you. People that were more hungry, like the world, the zeitgeist, the energy in the world back then was different to now. And by the way, Gen Alpha is even more cooked. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying is, if we were to pick two generations to start a business, I don't think we understand how much easier our life is with internet. And then you add AI on top of that. After this call, after this game show, I can literally just ask AI, hey, based on my top 10 skills, what 10 businesses can I start? And I have a business. So I do think that
But you have a business. You have a
be an
business. No,
entrepreneur.
100%. You have a business.
So we agree that it's easier to be an entrepreneur.
Wait, hang on a minute.
Okay,
you have
go
a
ahead.
business
I'm
with the
hanging
AI, right?
Absolutely.
Right. So
Do you use AI?
What?
Do you like AI?
I love AI.
ChatGPT,
It makes
Claude,
it
what's
so
the-
much easier.
What do you prefer to
But
use? ChatGPT, Claude, or?
No, ChatGPT.
ChatGPT?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't found. Wait, you're throwing me off here.
I'm not throwing you off.
No,
That's the question. Okay, go ahead.
So,
Sorry.
with the AI, you start a business.
Yeah.
Done, right?
Sure. Yeah.
But doesn't mean you've got a successful business.
Yeah.
Right? You've just got that business, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like it's quality over quantity, as in, you know what I mean? Am I making sense? So like, all right, you start a business. You can start a business with AI. You can do whatever the hell you want. You can be an actor. You can be a rapper. You can think about. It doesn't mean that you're a good rapper. It doesn't mean you're a good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean you're going to make that money.
I think access is enough. This is where I think we're actually in agreement. Access in and of itself is demonstrative of ease.
Yeah.
Because in the 90s, to start up a business like a restaurant, you'd have to get X amount of capital from the bank and 10 years working in whatever corporate journey to be able to get that leverage to purchase it. Whereas now, I know people that, I'm not even saying this is a good thing, that have used AI to finesse things and then get funding from the bank. And they shouldn't do that, but that's how cooked this day and age is. So if you're hungry enough, you will get it. And I think we agree there.
We agree.
Great.
My guy. Thank you. Appreciate you.
You're welcome. Anton, nice to meet you. Dami.
What do you think is your definition of a business?
Definition of a business. I think a business provides value to the market. And in exchange, they're compensated for that value.
I think business is money in first.
Okay.
Right?
I don't
'Cause-
agree with that.
Why?
Because you can offer a free service and then you can use that as like, and he's an agency guy, so agency guys might understand this. You give free service and then you can get compensated first. So I've still given value.
Yeah.
And then I was compensated. But yes, I prefer business models to be
Yeah.
clear, where I can get money first and then I deliver the service.
So does most of the time the free service give you what you want? Say you get your money first,
Yep.
you can pay for your rent.
Yes.
Can you do that with the free service?
Well, I don't think that's the argument, but to answer your question, yes. For example, if I had a client, and I don't, that owns like a building like this, and I get them and I do free SEO for them, I put them in ChatGPT or in Google, which is a service that we provide, by the way, then I could be like, look, if I rank you on page 1 of best real estate companies in ChatGPT, Claude and Gemini, can I, occupy one of your rooms for,
What's
free
the
or 2
likelihood
months?
of that happening? For
You'd be
an
surprised.
average person.
Oh, it's nearly zero.
Exactly.
But same with starting a business, by the
But-
way. And then did you know only 4% of businesses make over $1 million a year in Australia? Just
re-
$1 million revenue. So everything's statistically unlikely.
Yeah, every profit you make, you get money. So say a weed dealer,
Yeah.
he has a business.
Well, yeah. He's
Yeah.
providing,
Exactly.
unique value to the market.
And that's money right there. So is that a
Absolutely.
successful business?
Well, I think success is highly subjective because everyone has what's called a freedom number. So, for example, someone, if they're doing 30 or 50K a month, that can be enough for them to travel the world, relax. And then some people might be like, I'm so insecure that, this girl rejected me when I was 12, and they just lose all their hair and they go gray in their 20s and they become a billionaire by 40. So I think success, guys, if you want to quiet down, is relative. But I think the statement is it harder to be an entrepreneur now or in the 90s? And I think we might agree that it is a little bit easier now.
I think it would be harder in the 90s.
I agree.
Yeah. No.
we
Harder
agree.
now. Harder now.
Oh, okay.
Harder now. Camera. Harder now.
Okay, harder now.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's harder now?
In the 90s, I reckon, just money's just there,
Money's there. In what
Yeah.
way? No. He might have just.
Money's just there. You ask to do something, he pays you.
Right.
Simple transaction.
So if I said, hey, I can get you an extra 10K a month, and I just met you, and you're like, yes, isn't that the same? What you just said would happen in the 90s? Like, money's just there. Money, by the way, is just a medium of transacting with another human. So what one of you guys said about network being net worth, at the end of the day, the more people you talk to, the more hands you shake, the more money you make. That is true. But I can shake your hand just like I would have in the 90s. Like, I don't really understand the difference.
Well, there's a lot more different ways of making money in the 90s than now.
There's
right?
more ways to make money in the 90s than now.
Yeah.
Do you believe that?
Yeah, of course.
Why?
Because a lot of jobs now,
But we're talking about being an entrepreneur. Are there more side hustles now compared to the 90s?
so is being an entrepreneur not making money?
Being an entrepreneur is providing value to the market in exchange for money, which, yes, does include making money.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, but to start a business, I'm not talking about working for someone. To start a business, I think there'll be more ways to start businesses in 2026 than in 1995.
More ways to start businesses that don't make money.
But more ways to start businesses, which is to be an entrepreneur.
But to be an entrepreneur, you have to make money.
Not necessarily.
What?
Because I said you can provide
So
value,
if
and
I
I'm not
open
getting
it-
compensated.
If I
I'm
open
getting
an
other
ABN,
things.
right,
Yeah.
and don't make any money, I'm a business owner.
Yeah. I'll tell you why. Because there's different stages of being an entrepreneur. There's a time when I was working corporate. I was head of sales for a startup in Sydney, right? And I worked my way up. Before then, I was a cold caller, and then I was a retail person, whatever. But I started my business while I was working in sales. I was working for someone, and I was an entrepreneur. I was both.
So if I opened a gym membership, does that make me
If you
gym
open
o-
a gym,
Oh, if I get a gym membership, does that make me fit?
if you get a gym membership,
Yeah.
does that make you fit?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think so. You haven't lifted any weights.
Exactly. So
But you look quite ripped, by the way. You look quite strong. Do you work out a lot? I work out as well. How many days a week do you work out?
every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
I mean, it shows. And just like with entrepreneurship, if you're making enough calls or enough reach outs, you're going to eventually get customers and clients. But it does take a stage. At one stage, you have to be an entrepreneur that isn't getting paid, but is providing value. For the first 3 months, I had 0 clients when I started my business. And I was still like, I'm an entrepreneur because I was providing value to people.
I understand, but for my business, the first day I opened it, I made money.
What business are you in? Respect. Next question. Yeah.
So that was why that changed my mentality. I'm like, we can talk, we can do all this kind of stuff, but if the money's not in the account,
So if
Am I a business owner?
someone's running a business and they haven't made $1 and they've just started, are you saying they're a fake entrepreneur?
yep.
Okay. What if
100%.
they made it by day 7? Are they still a fake entrepreneur?
If they made that money that day 7,
Yeah.
they're entrepreneur.
No,
They
so
made
what I'm
money.
saying is the 6 days prior, they're not an entrepreneur.
Yeah, not an entrepreneur.
Do you think that's fair?
100%.
Do you think that's fair?
It's like,
But what if they're
were
providing
you world
value to
champion
people?
when you won that world champion?
I think being a world champion, you have to have the mindset first to become a world champion.
But
then
no
you
one
become a
knows you're
champion.
world champion until you make it.
Just like when you're providing value. What I did for the first 3 months of starting my business, I made content in Werribee, walking around Watton Street. Hey guys, here's what I learned about Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power. Da, 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 da. And I'm providing value. I'm going to do this, and this is how you post on Facebook. I'm providing value. I wasn't
Yeah.
compensated yet, but I was definitely at the early stage of being an entrepreneur.
We go. Continue.
Are we just going?
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Hi.
Hey,
Okay. A lot of thoughts, so bear with me.
I'm bearing.
Trying to bounce off prior debates, which very good, by the way. However, I'm going to pinpoint, you mentioned you used to do cold calling.
Absolutely. Still do.
Still do.
Yep.
Fantastic. This is going to work in my favor.
I love it. Let's get it.
You've watched Wolf of Wall Street, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, yes, he did eventually. He obviously worked for other companies. He wasn't necessarily working for himself, but it was commission-based.
He was a broker,
So,
yeah.
yes. Applying that to the 90s verse now, yes. In theory, if I can make the money to start a website that the fundamentals are to sell items, whatever it is, I own a business. Is it successful? Do I have to put in the work to then keep that entrepreneur title? No. I've got the site with that algorithm. I own a business.
Nice.
Not making revenue and income,
Yep.
but I'm an entrepreneur, right?
Yep.
Applying that to the cold calling, specifically stockbroker and whatever, 90s versus now, how many people here would answer their phone if a no caller ID, and this is in your personal life, a no caller ID or a number you do not recognize?
I think most wouldn't pick up the phone.
So going back to cold calling, and that's specifically 90s versus now, if you were to call anyone in here in their personal life on a number they do not recognize
Yeah.
or a no caller ID, they're not going to answer.
Yeah.
You still
Cold
are
calling is harder
you're
in this
still
day and age.
100%.
Social media is easier. Social media
It
exists.
is.
AI exists.
And it-
ChatGPT didn't exist.
Going back to what you said earlier, is AI, yes, helpful, but is that your skill? Or are you now just...
Arbitrage. Everything in business is arbitrage.
Yeah, I can see that. But if everyone here has a, let's call it an eBay account,
Yep.
right? We're all trying to sell the exact same thing.
Yep.
We're all entrepreneurs. How is one of us going to differ from the rest? So
I
one
love
of
that.
us is
Skill.
now-
Skill.
Skill, 100%.
And reps.
But everyone now is doing the same thing. We're using AI,
Absolutely.
we're using
Absolutely.
the internet and
It's
paying them more
infinitely
money
more
to get put on
accessible
that
and
first
infinitely
page.
more competitive.
Exactly.
But to be an entrepreneur is easier because there's less red tape compared to the 90s.
Sometimes the red tape's necessary, though. I think
But the
getting
question
that title
isn't about
of
is it necessary.
yeah,
We're talking
yeah,
about
getting
what's
that title of
easier.
becoming an entrepreneur. I think when you're talking about nowadays, it's a very flimsy title. If that's what-
Absolutely, it's flimsy. And in the
Yeah.
90s, I'm sure there was hustlers and pimps that were like, you know what? Like, I'm an entrepreneur, da, 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 and they didn't even have their setup yet, whatever they do.
Yeah.
So
So,
I
are we
think being
taking
entrepreneur-
away the integrity of the word entrepreneur?
I think humans always are shape-shifting words. Always. I think it's how we're evolved. If you look at different slang like bet, or even, what's an example? Swag in 2015, 2012 meant one thing, but if you go to a rich old white woman in Sydney, she thinks swags is like drugs. You get what I'm saying? So we're always shape-shifting language, and I don't think that the focus, and maybe perhaps you agree, perhaps you don't, is about language. It's about, okay, if someone was in the 90s or if someone was in 2026, who can start a business easier? I think the obvious answer is that it's easier to start in 2026.
I'll agree with you on that it's easier. I don't
love to
think
agree with
it's
you.
longevity, though.
I
know
agree.
That's not the question, but
I agree. That I'll agree with you, but I love that we agree on the main
All
topic.
right, stunning.
Very
All right,
nice.
I'll give you that one.
Very nice. Yeah, go for it. That's fine. Probably park somewhere else. Yeah, yeah.
Right, so first up, I think the argument got super diluted. So I think the main question here was it's easier to be an entrepreneur now than it was in the past, right? It's not about starting a business.
My definition is starting. I think it's easier to become an entrepreneur.
Okay, so this is where I kind of want to take some of the points that other people brought up here, because to me, like, I feel like being an entrepreneur is not just about waking up one day, choosing to open up an ABN, and then boom, I'm an entrepreneur.
Yep.
I feel like being an entrepreneur requires consistency over a long period of time.
Yep.
I wouldn't have considered myself an entrepreneur until I personally had money in the bank. Because I truly believe that money is a reflection.
It's the
of
scoreboard,
It's
right?
the scoreboard.
I agree.
Exactly. So, and once you start making money, then you realize how much money you actually need to be making in order to actually make moves.
Can I tell you why what you're saying makes sense, but it's important to widen the scope of the definition. Here's why. I got my business, and this was, within prior, we got to over 7 figures a year. I never used a credit card. Most entrepreneurs can't say that. I only started using a credit card after we were doing 1.5 million a year plus. But most entrepreneurs, they get the credit card, they open the business, they have a restaurant, they have a retail store. Even if the door is locked, I mean, they're technically still an entrepreneur. People haven't come in and bought things yet.
Correct.
That's why I do think it's about being able to provide value to the market in exchange for money, but they might not adopt to the value that you can provide straight away. But if you are trying to provide value actively to the marketplace in exchange for something that you've created, I think in this day and age in particular, we'd have to broaden that definition for entrepreneurship.
So for me personally, the way I'm taking this argument is, I believe that entrepreneurship isn't just starting a business. I feel like entrepreneurship is starting, maintaining, scaling.
Scaling. How do you define scaling?
Scaling is just kind of growing the business.
Okay.
Right.
So if they scale it from $1 to $2, is that an entrepreneur? See why it has to be a wide term?
Correct.
And what if they plateau at $2 for like 10 years?
Correct.
That's an entrepreneur,
but to
fucking
take
hustler.
but to take it back to the main argument, which is, I believe that it was easier back then than it is now.
It was easier in the 90s.
Correct. So in the 90s, well, I'm just gonna say anything before the 2000s, right? Before the pre-internet era.
Okay.
So back then, I feel like there was less misinformation due to the internet just not being there.
Agreed.
So there was. Right now, the market is in a trust deficit. Everyone online is selling something, right?
Yeah.
And you never know what's real, what's fake.
Yeah.
So starting a business right now, 100% easier, man. All you
Oh,
gotta
so
do
it's
is
easier,
open up
dude.
No.
Oh, okay.
Because to me, because the question is entrepreneurship, and to me, when I think of entrepreneurship, it's not just starting a business. It's actually
scaling from $1 to $2. We agreed on that already. And if you stay at $2 for 10 years, that's still an entrepreneur based on your definition.
And some people don't make the first
Some
dollar.
people get the $3, fucking ballers, you know?
True, but some people don't make any money for a long time.
Okay.
So to me, it's that
So what do we call them?
We call them people that tried and failed. Like that's it.
But they tried and failed as what?
Just tried and failed as
failed entrepreneur. Shake
true.
that.
No. Hold up. So again, to me, when I say scaling, let me clarify my definition here.
Okay, fair.
To me, scaling is if you haven't hit 10K, to me, you're not.
If you have less than 10K a month. What if you're at 9.97K a month? That's not an entrepreneur, man. He's not allowed in here.
You're not like as in.
That's pretty mean. I don't think you're a mean guy, by the way.
No, I'm not a mean guy.
You're quite kind.
Because at that point, like.
Because you manage a team of people, right?
Yeah, of course.
And you have people in that team that also have their own side projects.
100%.
Okay.
And see, I'm just trying to, because I see the way that you're running this as well. You're trying to give value to the people watching this. So I want to also give value to the people watching this, right? It's that, until you get to like 10K, I'm serious, man. Until you get to 10K, you can't be.
So when you weren't doing 10K a month, you were not an entrepreneur?
I was, but that's not the argument.
Well,
that's not the argument.
That's interesting.
No, but this is me defining.
And I don't think you're a hypocritical person, so I think it's important that we just,
this is me defining scaling.
Okay, fair.
Right?
Yep.
So it's difficult to scale because scaling requires long-term thinking, right? Scaling cannot be short-term.
But there's some e-commerce people that I know have scaled to 10K a day to 100K a day. Like it happens.
But how long did that take?
Sometimes it happens in a week, especially if it's Christmas time, Black Friday.
Oh, correct. But that's because they have the skills, right?
Well,
okay, bro, let's take it back to
where do you get the skills from? You can get it from, an entrepreneur. You can get it from a job that you're working for while scaling your business on the side.
100%.
So that's why I'm broadening the term entrepreneurship, because if you are providing value to the market independently through your own brute force, I think that's exemplar. I think that's an exemplar rather.
No, like.
Of entrepreneurship.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to define what scaling means to me, so then I can go back to my main
But you
argument.
said 10K a month. We understand that.
No,
and if they're doing 9.97K, then they're not allowed in the club, the cool club.
Yeah,
the entrepreneur club.
Mate, you're barred, bro. No, but look, what I'm trying to say is, the reason I say 10K is because I was able to think more long term as soon as I hit 10K, because I could actually move funds around and put money aside for ads, put money aside for team, buy a course. Like I had money to actually make more long term plays. And to me, when there's levels of entrepreneurship.
Okay.
Right? So
there's example, levels of entrepreneurship. Correct. I agree. I said that prior.
Correct.
So we agree.
Correct. But to me, it's like.
Is there a level 0?
There is man, because if you're below a certain level, it's tough to call yourself an entrepreneur because like you're student.
Can I ask you a question? When you get hired, have you worked for someone else before?
Of course.
Okay, great. I have as well. There's something called induction. So before I even get paid my first check, at the end of the month or the first 2 weeks, I'm employed. I'm going on LinkedIn. I work here now. I haven't been paid yet. Am I not an employee?
That's different.
Why?
That's different.
I'm providing value to the company.
Like, okay, for example, right? Being an entrepreneur in the 90s was easier than being an entrepreneur now, right? Because to me, being an entrepreneur isn't just starting a business. It's about walking the walk, right? It's
What's
about
walking the walk.
Walking the walk means like going through day in, day out. Like if I choose to open a business today and I run it for 7 days and then I go back to working a job,
You're an entrepreneur for 7 days?
No, for me, you're not, man. For me, you're not. Like you didn't even try at that point.
You're a entrepreneur.
You're a entrepreneur.
Okay, but that's entrepreneur.
So the first $1 million
Good job.
changes your personality, and that's fair.
Your first $1 million changes your personality, and that's fair. Personality. No.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I think it amplifies who you are.
But it said changes your personality.
And it definitely does, because you become slightly more actually,
Materialistic.
each to their own, because I know you and you could give less fucks about materialism.
I think we agree.
Homie, like if I make $1 million, I'm buying a Lamborghini.
Yeah,
right?
I get it.
Immediately, right? Yeah, no questions asked. No fucking questions asked, right? Getting a Lamborghini, getting a nicer watch, and I'm probably blowing a lot of it, right? 50% I'll put it away for ads. But I know you won't, right? You'll probably increase production costs and stuff like that. So I think that's very subjective. Will it change who I am?
Personality.
Personality-wise, yes, I think it will make me more confident. I think it will make me feel like I'm more adept, because it's like I'm the type of person that can make $1 million.
When you made your first 10K, did it change your personality?
Yeah, I got way cockier. Like I got way more confident, but then after a few days, I was like, yo, like.
Do you think that was just... So the reason why I said it doesn't change your personality is because I think personality after the age of 25, yes, apart from trauma or elation, so like trauma, like maybe someone, like a best friend of yours dies, or like elation, like maybe you won the lottery, they can affect like brain chemistry, but for the most part, 60-70% of your personality pretty much is there by like 25 to 30. So why I say personality is because for the most part, people are going to have certain defaults, even if they don't show that to the world. Like once they take that, sociopathic mask off, like when you're at work and you have the work voice and you go home and you see your family, your brother, like that kind of comes off a little bit, right? I think that stays the same. What I do think changes
So
rather.
we agree.
Well, I think you agree with me.
No, you agree with me because you say it changes.
Well, I said I don't think it changes.
Well, you said only
Your
60 to
personality.
70%.
In generally
By the
speaking,
age of 25.
but generally speaking, most personalities are set by 25 to
What
30.
about the other 30%?
So you got to read some room for Mally, but I'm not an extremist like you, man. You know what I mean? Like I didn't get anyway. So what I'm trying to say though is, when it comes to after a certain amount of money, what does change is your ability to manage responsibility. But your personality doesn't necessarily change. Like for example, once I made, let's just say my first $1 million at least, like all I was like is, damn, I need to hire more staff. But it didn't change my personality. Like I didn't start talking differently. I just was like, I need to hire more staff. So I don't think it changes your personality. I think that's something that's relatively, defined. And it does get exaggerated the more you grow, but those are traits.
Amplification of personality to me is a change of personality.
Well, perhaps that's the way you define it. I think, for example, if someone is depressed, they say money doesn't get solved with happiness. And some people agree, some people don't agree with that. I think if someone is naturally a depressed person, they might feel a high for a week. And then they'll go back to their default state of feeling depressed because that's their default state. Does that make sense? Like money can solve money-related problems, stuff, expenses.
But now we're talking about emotion.
Yeah.
So I'm not talking about emotion. I'm talking about personality.
How do you define personality?
To me, personality is just like who you are as a person. Right?
Absolutely.
And I guess a lot of personality is how other people perceive you.
I don't know if I agree with that. I think a lot of personality is genetic.
But
a lot of it's genetic, nurture
but
versus
personality is determined in you, the way people perceive you. Because you're never able to actually perceive your own personality. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So it's like, you kind of just, if everyone is calling you charismatic, you are charismatic.
It's sometimes better to listen to your detractors. So for example, if I have a detractor, someone that doesn't like me, and they're like, I fucking hate Dami, but damn, he's good at sales. Fuck. I'm listening to that guy because I have nothing to gain from him and he has nothing to gain from me. So I'm listening to the detractors. But just to hear feedback from, especially once your business starts to go to get more staff, from people that know you and love you, that's why I'm saying personality for the most part doesn't change. That's a good rule to think of, because people that are trying to get
I think it changes,
to
man.
inflate your ego.
Because to me, yeah.
Pranav smoking you guys, by the way.
Sick.
Smoking you guys. No, he hasn't been waved off. Oh, wait. Oh, he did? Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're all meant to like.
Good stuff. My boy.
Still disagree, bro.
I'm clipping, bro. Don't worry.
That's what I mean.
Must have masculine energy to become
masculine ass down.
I tend to agree.
Wait, they must have it. So you
Okay. Oh, you agree? Oh, come on. Let's get it. You all good?
Oh, stop. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. So, when you say you agree with that, do you mean it in its entirety? Like you can have no feminine traits, or what are
I think
socially perceived as more feminine
socially
traits?
perceived is a good way of defining it. No, you
Yes.
can have both, but I think there is a lean. So, for example,
Mm-hmm.
I have my leadership actually level in my company.
Mm.
70% of them are female. My ops manager is a female.
Mm-hmm.
My head of sales is male. Nearly everyone else is female except my head of account managers.
Right.
So 70% leadership team is female. You actually need both. Like actually the best salespeople, if you actually listen to them, like Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street, his voice is kind of like a cartoon.
Annoying.
Yeah, but it's like, because if you sound too like DJ FM and you have a look, you actually not intimidate. Some people aren't going to receive that well. So your voice needs to be dynamic, both masculine and feminine. Even I'm using my hands. That's more of a quote unquote feminine thing. But the desire to want to work strenuous hours, especially in your 20s, 30s. First of all, most humans in general can't be fucked doing that. Most humans in general. But it tends to be more of a male centric thing statistically compared to the amount of females that try to be entrepreneurs.
Right. Okay. So when we're thinking of a masculine trait, give me an example.
Sure. I think extreme assertiveness tends to be paired with masculinity. Whether that should or shouldn't be, by the way. I don't think all things should or shouldn't
That
be.
was going to be my next question. Is
Yeah.
why does that particular trait that you've said, or any other
Yes, I think
stereotypically masculine
I think
trait,
it comes to evolutionary biology.
why is that being tied to a man?
Yes, I
And
think
who
it
do we
comes to
think made that
evolutionary.
decision?
Yeah, well, look, I don't even look at the decisions. I'm just reporting the data.
100%.
Right? So I think it comes down to evolutionary biology. So again, women, like for example, when we're in primary school, what are women attracted to? The guy that can run the fastest. That's a display. And maybe everyone said, maybe you had more sophisticated taste, right? But what I'm saying is, some of them were like, oh, he's athletic. That's a sign of, you know, youth and speed and aggression, right? But when men fight, what do they do in primary school? Push, I hate him. You know, they need a little sticky band because they've hurt themselves. They tend to fight it out. What do women tend to do? They tend to gossip.
100%. And
So
that
we have different ways
Yes.
of, you know, attacking each other
Completely.
intersexual dynamic wise. So men tend to default to violence, women tend to
Yes.
to detracting people
And that
through verbal
would
you know,
come down to a primitive, and that nature versus nurture,
Spot
that
on.
whole argument.
Spot on.
Especially when you say the men fight.
Yeah.
So I think it's well known.
And I don't think
that
that's good. That men also commit the most
No.
amount of murders. They also do the most suicide. There's a lot of things that men shouldn't be doing. But I don't think that that's also why that they're also a lot of them are entrepreneurs. you know. Men are crazy.
100%. However, I think when we go back to that primitive thing,
Yeah.
yes, it becomes very, Hulk smash, monster trucks football, grr. I think the masculine traits that, again, we've socially allocated to female, male.
Sure.
We're not getting into the non-binaries. You exist and whatever. But putting it down to just the two, I think, yes, both male and female traits, so necessary.
Agree 100%.
Because if you are those stereotypical male traits of assertive, I won't use the word controlling, like you can delegate.
Oh, you can say the word controlling. A lot
But
of
yes,
entrepreneurs suffer because they're
yes.
too quote unquote masculine. I agree with you.
micromanaging, that kind of thing. I think as much as those are prominent and definitely necessary, having those more feminine, that caring, that understanding, necessary. Do I
Agreed.
think it is necessary for
Success.
success? Obviously, that will come down to what business you're in.
Okay.
If I want to be a successful,
I think you're a hustler though. And I think a hustler, by the way, can be put in many categories. I think though that when people think of a hustler, they tend to define that as more of a masculine thing.
100%.
Whether that's fair or not. And by the way, I
100%.
respect the hustle, by the way, because what you
Thank
do
so
isn't
much.
easy though.
No, it's
For
not.
real, yeah.
And I think, would you call okay?
I love how we agree on that, by the way.
No,
I think we agree
100%.
on these key things.
And so I don't think it's wrong to say that masculine traits, stereotypically allocated, are unnecessary. They are 100%. So being assertive, even in my own job,
yeah.
being assertive, a male trait,
Yeah.
so necessary.
Yeah.
Do I think it's a must to be successful, again, specifically in my
Yeah. What?
industry?
Yeah. Yeah.
Necessary? No. Helpful? Yes. Necessary? Not
Do you think
at
the
all.
best people at your job are the ones that are more tactically assertive? Best.
I think the ones that are good at their job are more tactical, not necessarily assertive.
Tactical for the most part. And that's actually where there's a lot of gray area. Because also if you look at most religious and non-religious texts, submission is actually power. So giving perceived submission is actually
Especially when
power,
you're
which is
dealing
tactical.
with a man.
Absolutely. It's to make them feel like they're in control. But also, when you're looking at how generals look at the war map and things like that, the ways in which they make decisions, distribute the troops and fire off, these ones, they're going to die first. Even the art of exchanging with someone in attempt to get them to where you want them to get to is probably more of a masculine thing.
100%. But you got to think, if the women were running the war, there wouldn't be one, because we would talk it out and then go and bitch behind each other's backs like civilized humans, rather than shooting guns and throwing bombs.
Interesting. And I respect that. But what I will think, and I think this is where we agree, is that when it comes to running a business or trying to be an entrepreneur, you do need a certain level of masculine oomph.
I think you need a level of adapting to your clientele. So my clientele...
Adaptation. Very good.
Yeah, not necessarily.
like
And
that.
that I think can be over both genders, all
Agreed.
genders. Not necessarily a masculine trait.
Do you think aggression is required to be successful? Psychological aggression.
I don't think that's necessarily a masculine trait. I think it's more
Aggression.
common in men.
Okay.
But aggression,
Aggression, period.
me personally,
Yeah.
situation dependent. I can guarantee you I've been in situations at work where aggression would have resulted...
Psychologically aggression. Psychologically aggressive.
Oh, as in, right.
Psychologically.
Honestly, same answer applies for me personally.
Okay.
Any sense of aggression on my part from another person could result quite badly for anyone in my industry.
And that's fair, but do you think for the average entrepreneur watching this, they're better off thinking, yeah, I need to really go after what I want in life, or I can just passively go after
needs to
it?
be in an aggressive way.
I think that's psycho.
saying that most entrepreneurs must be
To be successful.
No, look, by the way, making money is also a social activity. You know what I'm saying? So, I've got 80 staff across 5 countries. I've got staff in Ghana, Nigeria, Eastern Europe, Australia, Philippines, South America. And by the way, I told my staff, if we hit a certain revenue goal in Q3, then I'll fly everyone to the Philippines. We'll have like a freaking party in the Philippines. You know what I'm saying? And I might be speaking in India at the end of the year on stage. So I get the social activity of it, but for most people in traditional, normal businesses, when they're starting an entrepreneurial journey, it's really lonely at the start for most people. And it's lonely because you are becoming an outlier from your environment. But narcissism succinctly is, I think I deserve more than others. As cold as that sounds. And the painful thing about running a business is to get people to buy into your business. Say like you had a clothing store. Everyone has a clothing store. So you have to think, no, I can make my clothing store better than someone else's. And you have to have such conviction, which does have an element of narcissism, that will recruit people to be like, yeah, you know what, this person's store is looking amazing. I want to be part of it. I made 1 million cold calls by 25. I don't know many other people by 25 that have made 1 million cold calls. And the people that have probably didn't have the desire. They're just like, you know what, I'm just going to make 50, 100K in the bank, buy my 2 houses, show my parents on Facebook, got a house, got the girlfriend. But for me, I'm just like, at least coming up as a teenager, if anything, I wanted to protect myself from that feeling of when I was young, not being physically good enough. Basketball was my business, for the sake of this conversation, to heal that insecurity.
Right.
And then to get really good at basketball, I realized I had to make money, and I'm an entrepreneur.